Hello, everyone, and welcome to Angel's View. And obviously, we know what we're talking about today. Yes, Star Wars, The Mandalorian, and Grogu. Yep. After 6.5 years, the first Star Wars movie since 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, which has divided fans tremendously, me being one of them. What has been the success of Star Wars since then? Basically, just TV shows. The Mandalorian was one of them. The Mandalorian came on the scene on Disney Plus, brought us all to Disney Plus in a sense, and the first two seasons were great. With that, there was the expansion of the Star Wars mythos with the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Ahsoka, season 3 of Mandalorian, which a lot of people are highly divided over and felt like, what was the point of this one and how it ended? And when you do watch season 3 of Mando, it almost has like a definitive end, like where our characters are at and where Mando and Grogu end up. So, what is there to say about Mandalorian and Grogu? Um, okay. Again, I am a Star Wars fan. I grew up with the films. I went to the movies. I saw the remastered versions in the theaters. I was hyped up when the prequels first came out. Um, then, when the sequel trilogy was announced after Lucasfilm was bought by Disney, it was like, oh my God. Well, Force Awakens. You know, it's a good movie. It's a good movie. But when you get down to the bare bones of it, it's a retread of A New Hope, which is the original Star Wars, where we're introduced to our heroes of the galaxy, Luke, Leia, Han, um, the villain, Darth Vader, who honestly, I have to say, is probably one of the greatest movie villains that we will probably ever have. I mean, he's up there with Hannibal Lecter. He's up there. Um, you know, I mean, you got to think a little bit about the movie villains that we've had and that just stick with you, But when people talk about science fiction and who pops up almost immediately, it is Darth Vader. Um, his story has been expanded upon and more mythos have been brought into it over the years. But what does that have to do with Mandalorian and Grogu? Absolutely nothing. Um, Look, I enjoyed the film for what it was. It is not expanding the Star Wars lore, the Star Wars universe in any way at all. It is expanding. And I'm not even going to say it's expanding. It is adding to the Mandalorian story, Mandalorian Grogu's story. Um, After season 3, a lot of people thought, okay, where is this going next? Well, here it is. This is the continuation of what happens to Mandalorian and Grogu. And in all honesty, it begins a certain way, ends a certain way, and doesn't give you anything else. It does not give you any more backstory on the Mandalorian lore. It does not give you any at all backstory on Grogu at all, or where he's going, where he's been, what's the possibilities, anything at all. This is a side quest story in a film, plain and simple. Um, the controversy online, the reviews that I've already seen, people that I follow on YouTube that have commented on it, they are trashing this tremendously. And at the end of the day, it's how you feel about it. If you're a Star Wars fan, you're going to go in You're either going to have certain expectations or you're just going to enjoy it for what it is. Um, I enjoyed it for what it was. Honestly, though, yes, this could have been, excuse me, season 4 of The Mandalorian. Excuse me. This could have been season 4 of The Mandalorian. Um, very easily, because by the end of the film, we have not moved forward in any way at all with either Mandalorian story or Grogu story at all. Um, how does this connect to the overall Star Wars lore? Well, we bring in the Hutts. Jabba the Hutt's family is part of this story. His brother and twin sister, and they are responsible for Jabba's son, who is Rada the Hutt, which is where the story comes from. The beginning of the film is action packed. There's a great sequence where Mando is hunting down remnants of Imperial lords that are still trying to sway and control certain areas of of the galaxy, as being, that, hey, we give you more as the Empire than the rebellion or the rebels, or, that they what they could do for you. So Mando has, attached himself to the rebellion, in the sense, the New Republic, and he's helping them out with Grogu at his side as his apprentice. He's hunting down these people that are the last remnants of the Empire, and he's bringing them to justice, to the New Republic. Who he answers to is Sigourney Weaver. She's a new character to the Star Wars lore, and this is the contact that the Mandalorian has. Again, the movie starts with a bang. A great, great action sequence where you sit there and just enjoy it for what it is. If you want to nitpick it, if you want to tear it apart, like I've seen online, yeah, of course. But at the end of the day, it's a movie, okay? I mean, what are we expecting about people flying around that have mind powers, that are in armor that makes them almost invincible? Alien races. Oh, well, this doesn't connect with me. Blah blah blah. Yeah, how's it ever going to connect with you? Don't get me wrong. There are aspects of the Star Wars lore that does connect with many people. That's why they are so popular. The reason why Mandalorian and Grogu became popular is because of the fact it's almost like a father-son kind of thing. I mean, the Mandalorian saves Grogu and realizes that, he wants to protect this child, even though the race of Grogu, which includes Yoda, they live for hundreds of years. So he's going to outlive the Mandalorian. But it's just that connection. You see how Mando cares about Grogu and how Grogu cares about Mando. Um, Again, going back to the movie, could this have been just season 4? Yeah, yeah. To be honest, after watching the film and everything like that, at the end of it, it doesn't it doesn't push Star Wars lore anywhere. It literally doesn't do anything as far as like setting up how the New Order took over in The Force Awakens or anything in between. There's no mention at all of Jedi's, Sith, um, anybody that was part of the New Republic, even though, Mando is on a mission to save the son of Jabba the Hutt. There is no conversation at all about previous individuals or concept that we've heard of and seen in the Star Wars lore. In all honesty, if you probably have not seen the first 3 seasons of The Mandalorian, you might be like, what is this about? You know, yeah, they give you an opening statement paragraph. It's not the usual Star Wars crawl at all. It is literally just a paragraph which explains where we are in the Star Wars timeline and what's happening, well, how Mando is involved and why Grogu is involved, and that's it. That's the beginning. Boom, we start off with that exciting action scene that I mentioned. He goes on this mission to hunt down this particular person, but first he has to save the son of Jabba the Hutt and bring him back to his aunt and uncle. Um, which, you know, it does happen, but the circumstances that bring us to him getting Rada the Hutt out of this, where he's involved in, he is a Hutt that is part of these gladiatorial type of fights, and he's trying to prove himself. He's trying to get out of the shadow of his father, who was an evil, gangster. Jabba the Hutt. He ruled parts of the galaxy, and people feared him. That is not what his son wants to be. To the point that he has developed himself. I mean, for a Hutt, when you look at him on screen, you're going to be like, what the heck? His whole upper body is all just straight muscle, and he's fighting in these pits for his freedom. So that's that part. So obviously Mando realizes there's more to this story. He basically is trying to break him out of there. He's trying to pay off his debt to this warlord. And then you kind of find out how that story connects to what was initially the beginning, where Mando is hunting down, these remnants of the Empire. Look, you'll be able to watch this, and you'll probably watch it again when it comes to Disney Plus. Are you going to go back to the theaters 2, 3 times like you probably did when The Force Awakens came out? I don't think so. I mean, look, I saw it the other night. I enjoyed it. Um, I'm not going to run back to see it because honestly, it doesn't push the Star Wars story forward. And this is where I'm going to state where a lot of people are complaining about that. But at the end of the day, this is a story about Mando and Grogu. And that's it. This is this part of the Star Wars saga that we're getting. The complaint is, oh, what's the point of this movie? What's the point of this story? If it's not expanding on the lore. Well, you also have people that complain when they try to expand on the lore or whatever, hey, what's next in the Star Wars saga? Because it's not to what their liking is. So when you have basically a side quest in the Star Wars saga, why complain about it? Enjoy it for what it is. The problem is, it is a film based on a TV streaming series, a streaming show, which in the beginning was very successful. The third season really affected how the audience and how people felt about it, because they took some chances, and they definitely brought in some concepts that people did not like. And nowadays, it's, I'm going to say it, it's very sad to see how the internet, how the online landscape treats certain things, certain shows, certain characters. I mean, it's kind of crazy. Again, sometimes you don't, the film or the show hasn't even come out, and we know so much background, so much behind the scenes situations about certain things that you're like, why am I watching this? And I'm like, who cares about all that stuff? Do you care about the budget of a show? Do you care about how much someone's being paid? Um, do we care about, again, because it keeps coming up, a person's sexual orientation? I just want to see something fun on the screen, something in the movie, something at home. I don't care about all that other stuff. It's like, why do I care about how much this film costs so that I can know how much it's going to make for the Disney company, for, Lucasfilm and Disney? That doesn't affect me. I don't have stock in Disney, so I don't care. You know, I just want to see characters that I've enjoyed for years, and see where it's going to go next. There's a lot of division already. I mean, in just 3 days since this was released on Thursday and today's Saturday, um, it's it's crazy. It's crazy. The online pundits that I watch are just trashing this film, and the expectations financially. It's like that's all everybody's paying attention to. It's not about, hey, is this something I could take my family to? Is this something that my grandkids are going to enjoy? Will my children enjoy this to show their kids? Or, is something in the future? Ah, you know, if you really want to break it down, no, it's not. It's not going to be that turning point for people in a certain age group that have grown up with Star Wars. They're going to see this and go, what was the point of this? They want to see the Star Wars lore expanded upon. They want to see what happens next. What is the connection? What happens in between the years of Return of the Jedi and A Force Awakens? There are so many years. There's so much that has happened. And honestly, I don't even think that we need to see all that, because we already know where it's going. Just like with the prequels. A lot of people complained about that. We know where this is heading. We know what this is setting up. Um, it, you know, they have to really rethink what's going on. Now, I have hope, and I'm very curious about the next Star Wars film, which is Star Wars Starfighter, because this does take us after the events of The Rise of Skywalker. Apparently, it's 5 years after The Rise of Skywalker. And yeah, maybe next year we'll be experiencing something that continues the lore of Star Wars, brings us back to that galaxy from far, far, far away, and not be a side story with characters that, yes, we do enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy Mando, I enjoy Grogu, but what's next? By the end of this film, Mando and Mandalorian Grogu, you're like, okay, what happens next? There is nothing to tease that there's something coming up with them at all. Again, you have to be listening to what's happening outside of the product. The people that made the film, the interviews and everything that they're talking about. That's where you find out or hear that, oh yeah, we have plans for this and this and this. You know what? I just want to see what's on the screen. I want to understand what's happening from what you decided to show me. Again, if you have young kids, if you're a fan of the show, you will enjoy this. Are you looking for connections in the bigger picture in the Star Wars saga? You're not, because this is not what this is about. Honestly, this is a glorified super episode of The Mandalorian on the big screen. A bigger budget, um, a lot more explosions and action and expanding upon on certain things, but it does not add to their story at all. So you make the decision. I'm very curious to see what the weekend's going to bring as far as the box office for this. Um, there's so much gloom and doom online already, just like knocking it down. It's like, oh, this is going to be the worst entry for Star Wars since Solo, since Star Wars: A Solo Story, because that was the lowest um, financial film for the Star Wars saga. All the stuff that happened with that film, the behind the scenes that caused the budget to balloon, which of course made any financial success like non-existent. So the thing that they're harping on with Mandalorian and Grogu is that, oh well, the budget for this is so inexpensive that they anticipate making back their money. So if that's what this is all about at the end of the day, then why even make it? Then why even put it in theaters? You should have just done season 4 and waited and put everything behind Starfighter. I mean, it sounds and looks like it's going to expand upon the universe. With this coming out this weekend, honestly, I just think it is going to hurt the brand. It is going to hurt Star Wars even more than it's been hurt since, Disney bought Lucasfilm. Force Awakens was what it was. I mean, so many years we didn't have anything Star Wars, and bam, we got that. And then the the Last Jedi, how that just literally cut the whole fandom in half. I mean, there are people that hate that movie. There are people that enjoy it. There are people that respect it. But then you have The Rise of Skywalker, which totally almost negated everything that happened in that film. So you're like, what the heck? You know, again, I'm talking about films from 7 years ago already, more than 7 years. And you see how that takes up the dialogue more so than The Mandalorian and Grogu. And sadly enough, I'm going to say that's what's going to happen. This film is not going to push it forward. It's not going to push Star Wars forward. It's going to keep it exactly where it is. The negativity, the rising negativity, more people commenting on it. They're like, it's Star Wars is dead. It's over. It's done. So what happens with Starfighter? What happens with any other possible TV shows, streaming shows for Star Wars? It's definitely a hard time if you're a fan. You know, it's not the same. Kids today don't do buy toys or collections like I did when I was growing up and when I enjoyed this when I was a young guy. Um, it's not the same. It is definitely not the same. Everybody now, it's more about the moment. And yeah, when Mandalorian first came out, boom, Grogu exploded. I mean, hey, you know, here you go. I got this little guy. I got several plushies of Grogu. I got my Mandalorian bobblehead, giant bobblehead. Um, but what's next? What's going to excite us? What's going to bring us back to this universe that we're going to be cheering and clapping and just want to see what happens next? Um, I'm not trying to tell you not to go see this movie. It's up to you at the end of the day. Again, as always, this is my view. Okay. I enjoyed it for what it was. Not going to rush back and go see it. I'm honest. I don't need to see it again on the big screen. I could definitely wait till it comes to Disney Plus. There's so many other movies that are going to be coming out over the next few weeks, the next few months. It's the summer season. As the start of the summer season per se, um, it's okay, and that's pretty much it. So. This is Angel's View. Like, subscribe, please comment. Again, I just want to generate conversation and see what you guys think about it. Are you going to be one of the people that saw Mandalorian and Grogu this weekend? Do you plan to see it? What do you feel about it? Are you disappointed that this is what Disney has given us after 7 years of waiting for a theatrical Star Wars film? We'll talk about it again soon. Have a good night.